ततो जयं मुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 3. Text number 17. Text number 17. Evam bhavan buddhi anumeya lakshanaihi. Evam bhavan buddhyanumeya lakshanair grahyair gunai san api tad gunagraha grahyair gunai san api tad gunagraha anavrutatvat bahir antaram na te anavrutatvat bahirantaram na te sarvasya sarva atmanaha Atma vastunaha sarvasya sarvatmana atma vastunaha evam bhavan buddhyanumeya lakshanair grahyair gunai sannapi tad gunagraha anavrutatvad bahirantaram nate sarvasya sarvatmana atmavastunaha evam bhavan buddhyanumeya lakshanair grahyair gunai sannapi tad gunagraha anavrutatvad bahirantaram nate sarvasya sarvatmana atmavastunaha evam bhavan buddhyanumeya lakshanair grahyair gunai sannapi tad gunagraha anavrutatvad bahirantaram nate sarvasya sarvatmana atmavastunaha evam bhavan buddhyanumeya lakshanair grahyair gunai sannapi tad gunagraha anavrutatvad bahirantaram nate sarvasya sarvatmana atmavastunaha evam. In this way, yeah, it is the entire 3 verses, word for meaning. You come to the end. In this book, 3 verses are given together, 15, 16 and 17. Because it's a very big purport, I am doing bit by bit. So today we'll discuss the last part of this 3 verses. Previous slide. Okay. Evam, in this way, Bhavan, O my Lord, Buddhi Anumeya Lakshanai, by real intelligence and by such symptoms, Grahyai, with the objects of the senses, Gunaihi, with the modes of material nature, San api, although in touch, Tat guna agraha, are not touched by the material qualities. Anavritatvad, because of being situated everywhere. Bahi antaram, within the external and internal. Nate, there is no such thing for you. Sarvasya, of everything. Sarva atmanaha, you are the root of everything. Atmavastunaha, everything belongs to you, but you are outside and inside of everything. So this is a prayer by Vasudeva, and he is actually helping us understand who is Krishna. This Krishna has appeared as a son, not an ordinary person who's appeared as a son. The Supreme Lord. So that he is explaining. Little technical, but not very difficult to understand the way Prabhupada has explained. So the translation is given of all the 3 verses. Let me try to see the portion of the translation of this verse. Okay. Please repeat this portion of the translation of the 17th verse. Similarly, although you are perceived by our senses, because of your presence, you cannot be perceived by the senses nor experienced by the mind or words. Avan manasa gochara. With our senses, we can perceive some things, but not everything. For example, we can use our eyes to see, but not to taste. Consequently, you are beyond perception by the senses. Although in touch with the modes of material nature, you are unaffected by them. You are the prime factor in everything, the all-pervading, undivided, super soul. For you, therefore, there is no external or internal. You never entered the womb of Devaki. Rather, you existed there already. So that's the translation of the 17th verse. And it's a very big purport. I will not read the purport, I will directly discuss the purport. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Yat kripatamaham vande Paramananda Madhavam Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. This Srimad Bhagavatam is certainly one of the Puranas. Puranas means ancient history. But it is also the commentary on the Vedanta Sutra by the very author of the Vedanta Sutra. Who is the author of Vedanta Sutra? Vyasa, Veda Vyasa. So he only has written the Srimad Bhagavatam, compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is described as Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam. In the Bhagavatam also, in the 12th canto, it is described. It is the Brahma Sutra Bhashya, the explanation of the Brahma Sutras or Vedanta Sutras by Vyasadeva himself. But it is presented as a Purana, as a ancient historical text, because Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's incarnations pastimes, as well as Krishna's pure devotees' pastimes, are all included as historical narrations. Now, through those pastimes, it is easier to understand the Vedanta Sutra than by directly referring to the original Vedic literature. Original Vedic literature is very dry. Simply some principles are given. Whereas in the Bhagavatam, there are wonderful narrations of the extraordinary qualities, the extraordinary activities, the extraordinary beauty, extraordinary opulence of Krishna, which is very, 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 very attractive. Krishna is called Krishna because he attracts everyone by his unlimited qualities, by his unlimited opulence, by his unlimited beauty, by his unlimited fame, by his unlimited knowledge, by his unlimited renunciation. By all these attributes, he attracts everybody. Sarvakarshaka. Therefore, he is called Krishna, one who is all attractive. Nobody else can be all attractive. Even though the living entities possess some qualities of Krishna, they don't have all the qualities of Krishna. Even if they have some qualities, even those qualities they have to a very, 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 very small quantity. So both ways, Krishna is the supreme. You cannot count the number of qualities Krishna has. The living entities possess some limited number of qualities of Krishna. Similarly, we cannot estimate in what quantity Krishna has got these qualities. Whereas living entities have very little of some qualities. So both ways we differ from Krishna. We are always very, very insignificant jiva, living being. Nevertheless, we are also having some very important qualities of Krishna in common. Like Krishna is Aja, never takes birth. Actually, our quality as spirit soul is we don't have to take birth in this material world. And as spirit soul, we don't die. There's no death for the real you, the real spirit. Death is only pertaining to this material body. So Krishna is also deathless, but Krishna never accepts a material body. When he comes in his original form, original spiritual body, if I may use that word, body. He doesn't have a body. Body means it's a covering, whereas form means it's his original form, his actual form. So all those things are explained in the scriptures directly and indirectly. But if you want the direct explanation of who is Krishna, you cannot find it in the Vedas. You cannot find it in the Vedanta Sutra. You can find it only in the Itihasas, Puranas, Dharma Shastras. All the Smriti literature, you can find this. Directly, Vyasadeva is declaring, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya Yataha. Vedanta Sutra says Janmadhyasya Yataha. Absolute truth is that from which everything is coming. The creation, the maintenance, the destruction is emanation of the absolute truth. But Bhagavatam elaborates on that. Who is that, or what is that absolute truth? It is actually Bhagavan Vasudeva. There are so many Vasudevas. Out of all those Vasudevas, the Bhagavan Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva, is called Vasudeva because he appeared as the son of Vasudeva, his own devotee. Like this description is given in this 10th canto, 3rd chapter, these verses. So he is Bhagavan Vasudeva, he is Satyam Param, he is the absolute truth. He is Janmadhyasya Yataha, he is the source of everything, ultimate source of everything. And a lot of explanation is there directly. Now Vasudeva is also explaining to us through his prayers, who is Krishna? What is the position of Krishna? So now let us see this specific explanation in these verses, these prayers. Who is Krishna? So about Krishna, Vasudeva is telling, you are perceived by our senses because of your presence. Krishna has appeared, So he has appeared in a form which we can see with these eyes. So somebody may think, if we can see with these eyes Krishna's form, because we can only see material forms like we're seeing each other. Similarly, if we're able to see Krishna's incarnation as Krishna with these eyes, that form should also be a material form, like our form. It should be like our form. Vasudeva is telling, no, it is not a form like our form. What is he telling? Even though you are perceived by our senses because of your presence, you have appeared, therefore we can see you. You cannot be perceived by our senses. The truth is, we cannot see with these eyes Krishna's transcendental form. But we are seeing. How is it we are seeing? Because Krishna becomes visible when he incarnates. Becomes visible. So that is Krishna's power to become visible even to ordinary eyes. He can, because he is the Supreme Lord. He is unlimitedly powerful. He's unlimited. He's got unlimited mystic powers. So he can become visible. He can be invisible. He can become visible. He can be partially visible. He can be visible to some people and not visible to others. All that Krishna is capable. So the fact is, Krishna cannot be perceived by our senses, nor experienced by the mind or words. Senses are this eyes, ears, nose, etc. But there is the mind. We can conceive some things which we cannot see with the eyes using our mind. But Krishna cannot be conceived even in the mind. And Krishna cannot be described by words. Then what is all this Bhagavatam about? Description of Krishna through words. That also is explained in another prayer by Vasudeva. In the later chapter, towards the end of the 10th canto, there is a description that Vasudeva says, Krishna, all these words, which are combinations of different letters of the alphabet, they make sense to us. They're meaningful to us because you make them meaningful. It's like there are so many sounds, they don't have a definite meaning. Supposing I bang this table, I wonder, why is he banging? What is the meaning of that sound? Why did he do that? Now I'm speaking, you're able to understand what I'm speaking. Therefore, it makes sense. It's also a sound. This is also a sound. So many sounds are there. But some sounds are meaningful and some other sounds are not meaningful to us. So, the sound of what we speak is meaningful only because Krishna makes it meaningful. How is he making it meaningful? He's sitting in my heart. And he is actually making me vibrate the tongue to produce specific words, specific sounds, combinations. And then he's sitting in your heart and he's making you hear this sound and giving you the intelligence to understand what is the meaning of this sound. Krishna is making it happen. For example, if I speak in a language which you do not know, those words will never make any sense to you. Once in a month, I am conducting one online Bhagavatam class for Russian devotees, some Russian devotees. All those Russian devotees don't understand any English at all. They don't know English. But one among them, one devotee, knows both English and Russian very nicely. It's a lady devotee. So she's translating whatever I'm speaking. I don't know Russian, they don't know English. So I'm speaking in English and she's translating sentence by sentence, sometimes phrase by phrase, whatever I speak. And they're understanding it so well because she's an excellent translator. So I try to figure out what is she telling for certain common words that I use. So that way I can get some idea of Russian. So I tried learning basic Russian. There are so many YouTube videos. If you want to learn any language, you can learn through those videos. Wonderful videos. But Russian language is not easy. It is not resembling English. The letters are different and the sounds are entirely different. So it is not just like Indian languages, they're all coming from Sanskrit. So almost the letters are same or similar. And the words also, many words are common. Or at least you can get some idea of the words. Whereas this Russian language is completely different than English. And it's completely different than Sanskrit also. Though there are some Sanskrit words which are same in Russian. But nevertheless, it's different. So I can't understand any word except when Prabhupada's name comes up, or Krishna's name comes up, or Hare Krishna comes in the translation. Then I can understand, oh, Hare Krishna, something about Hare Krishna she's telling, translate what I said. So like that, now, for them to understand even Russian, it's possible only because Krishna is Paramatma in their heart, is making them understand. It's not their capacity to understand or their capability to understand. Why? Because this whole mind, body, the brain, the organs, the process of hearing, everything is an arrangement by Krishna in our body, in the form of this body. This body is working because of several reasons. This body is working because of the presence of the Paramatma. Otherwise, this body is not going to work. And Paramatma is present in so many different ways in this body. He is present as the life force, prana. Paramatma is present as prana. Paramatma is also present as the super soul. That's what Vasudeva is describing here. You are the all-pervading, undivided super soul. You are the prime factor in everything. In every single person, in every single object, Paramatma is present. Therefore, the object is appearing, is working, is behaving the way it is. Wood has got certain qualities because of which we can make nice furniture. A carpenter can shape it very nicely and prepare nice furniture. Now, you give a carpenter some metal, some lump of iron, he cannot do anything with that, with all his tools. A blacksmith can do something with iron. He can melt it and he can shape it and prepare some different vessels or some different tools or whatever. So, who is giving these qualities to wood, to metal, to iron, to gold? It is Krishna. He has entered into those elements into those metals, into this wood as Paramatma. And because of him, because otherwise, what are these before Wood became wood. It was simply lying as earth element, the element called earth, element called water, element called fire, element called air, element called ether, Panchabhuta. This Panchabhuta is combined to form varieties of different things in this entire creation, virtually unlimited variety. Wonderful qualities. Even take stone. Stone itself, there are varieties of stones. There is marble, there is granite, there is quartz. So many varieties of stones are there. Even in granite stone itself, there are varieties. Some are very hard, some are not so hard. Different colors, different degrees of polishing you can do and get different degrees of finish, smoothness. So, who is making this variety possible at the beginning of creation? It is Krishna. How is it possible? Because Krishna has entered into each of them as Paramatma. No Devata can, transform these different elements, combine them into different varieties of different objects or different varieties of earth, varieties of water. Water means you take it as liquid, the element water. How many varieties of liquids are there? You see, you sow a coconut seed, and then a coconut tree comes. That coconut tree, it takes the same ingredients in the soil and produces nice coconut. In that coconut, there is some water called tender coconut. There is a coconut water that has got specific taste. Now you sow a mango seed, a mango tree comes out, and there's a mango fruit. That mango fruit has got mango juice. That mango juice has got totally different taste than the coconut water. Isn't that? So both are water element only. Whether it is mango juice or apple juice or coconut water, the same element water, it is transformed by combination into different tastes. There's a quality of water. What is the quality of water? Characteristic of water? Taste. It's all explained in the Bhagavatam in detail. In Bhagavad Gita, in brief, it is explained. Given, just mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. So, who is making this possible? If we give a scientist the ingredients in the soil, give him water, give him sunshine, give him the seed of the mango fruit, you give him the seed, and let him combine and make a mango fruit. Possible? Never possible. They may do research for millions of years. They may study the mango tree, how it is getting, how the mango tree is developing from a small seed, and how varieties of things are coming out, even in the tree itself. First, you just see one small sapling, and then the sapling grows, and then it differentiates into the roots, the stem, the branches, the twigs, the flowers, the fruit, the seed. So many things, even within a tree. One tree. So this is all possible because Krishna has entered into each of them. Krishna is present. So that is Krishna. Not foolishly, as people think, a cowherd boy. A prince, son of Vasudeva, King Vasudeva. No, he is not a prince. He's not a cowherd boy. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he has got his original form. And he has got his spiritual activities. He has got his spiritual names. He has got his spiritual qualities. He has got his spiritual uh, uh, different possessions, spiritual abode, spiritual paraphernalia. He's got his devotees or completely spiritual personalities. So that is Krishna. So to understand that Krishna means you are liberated. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanmaneti mameti sorjuna. Krishna declared this. You just try to understand the transcendental nature of my birth and activities. And then you become liberated. You never take birth again in this material world. After you leave this body, then you never take again birth. You come to me, to my spiritual abode, to live with me eternally, blissful life, full of knowledge. Krishna is inviting in the Bhagavad Gita, come. And where are the details about Krishna's birth? That is in the Bhagavatam. Described by Vyasadeva. It's also there in the Vedas. It's also there in the Vedanta Sutra. But to understand from the Vedas is not possible for most people. Stri Shudra Dvijabandhu Nam Trayi Na Shruti Gochara. The statement in the Bhagavatam. Why Vyasadeva had to compile Bhagavatam? When already in the Vedas it is there. Everything is there. It is because three categories of human beings in the Varnashrama system, they cannot understand even if it is explained elaborately. They cannot understand what is described about Krishna in the Vedas. Na Traina Shruti Gochara. Shruti means the Vedas, the original Vedas. Cannot understand. Therefore, Vyasadeva, the learned Vyasadeva, Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute, is called Mahamuni. There are so many munis, so many rishis, so many saintly personalities, so many sages. They are describing the absolute truth. They are explaining the Vedas. But those explanations also require a certain qualification to understand. Vedas are explained by so many acharyas, so many rishis, so many munis, so many saintly persons, so many sadhus. And the Lord himself as Narayana in his various incarnations, he explains the Vedas, the original Vedas. He's given the Vedas, he's explained the Vedas. But in spite of all those explanations, very clear explanations, very elaborate explanations, we cannot understand without certain qualification. Now, without qualification, if you still want to know who is God or what is the truth, it is possible through Itihasa, Mahabharata. Itihasa means history, historical narration of Mahabharata, Ramayana, and the Puranas, like Bhagavata Purana, Padma Purana, Vishnu Purana. All these Puranas and Itihasas are explaining who is Krishna, what is the absolute truth, what are the Vedas teaching us, without any need for you to have any previous qualification. You don't require any qualification. It's like anybody sits for hearing the story of Mahabharata or the story of Bhagavata. Anybody can hear, even a child can hear the story. That story is not like a fiction story that generally the word story is understood. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕತೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಡ ಕಣೋ Like in Kannada also they say, no? In English also, story sometimes is understood as something which is not real, something which is not factual, something which is not the truth. So even Purana, because it contains stories about Krishna, Krishna's incarnations, Krishna's activities, so therefore the Mayavadis and some other philosophers also, they think these Puranas are all simply some fictitious story, fiction story, some imaginary stories. No. That's why the word Purana has to be clearly understood as ancient history, itihasa, as real historical incidents that have been carefully documented by such a great personality as Vyasadeva and some other sages like Parashara Muni, Yajnavalkya. So many sages have, Narada, Rishi, they've all documented very carefully, very responsibly, very accurately, and they're simply describing the truth, the absolute truth. The subject matter of all these itihasas, Puranas, everything is the absolute truth. That's it. Nothing else. So here, Vasudeva is telling that you cannot be seen with his eyes because your form is spiritual. These eyes are incapable of seeing spiritual form. He's also telling that Prabhupada is explaining why is he telling you cannot be perceived by the senses, because Prabhupada says with our senses we can perceive some things but not everything. That's a fact. We can see with our eyes. Can you taste with the eyes? No. Krishna, he has got eyes also, looking like our eyes, but it's not like our eyes. It's not material eyes, it's spiritual eyes. Spiritual eyes, what's the difference? He can see with his eyes, he can taste with his eyes, he can create with his eyes. What did he do in the beginning of the creation? He just glanced on the material energy and it became activated and the whole creation happened. Sa aikshata, sa asrujata. In the Upanishads it is told that absolute truth just cast the glance on the material energy, and material energy got transformed into this whole material world. So it is said, Sa Aikshata, he saw or he glanced, Sa Asrijata, he created. He, it, whatever, that absolute truth. Bhagavatam says, not it, not he. It is the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, in his form as Mahavishnu. He glanced. Mahavishnu glanced. And Mahavishnu, by his glance, he did so many things. It is not elaborately explained or detailed way explained in the original Vedas or the Upanishads or the Vedanta Sutra. No. In the Bhagavatam, it is explained by his glance, he injects the living entity into the material nature. He also agitates the material energy by which the Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna become activated. And then material nature seems to wonderfully transform into this whole variegated material creation, material world. So foolish scientists think everything is happening automatically. No automatic. There is a automation expert, Krishna. It's like any automatic machine that's working. Intelligent person knows there is a person who has designed it to work automatically. By itself, it cannot automatically come. It cannot be generated automatically. It simply doesn't come out of nothing. Or even out of some dead objects, it doesn't come. It has to be Matter has to be having the touch of spirit, has to have the spirit working on it, to transform it, to make it work, to move it, to engineer that material into a finished product. A spirit soul is required. Similarly, the whole universe, it is the universal spirit, Vishwatma, Krishna, who enters into the universe, and the universe transforms out of the elements. The combinations transform into so many planets. On each planet, so many varieties of sense objects, so many different varieties of living spaces. And then the living entities are taking birth at the beginning of creation. That also happens. First of all, Krishna, actually, as Garbhodaka Shayi Vishnu, he gives birth to Brahma. And for that, he doesn't require, human beings take birth out of combination of mother and father. So in the beginning, Garbhodakashai Vishnu was there as the father, but Vishnu only acts as the mother also. There is no Lakshmi with Vishnu at the beginning of creation. Brahma is born out of one lotus flower that comes out of Vishnu's navel, and on that lotus flower, Brahma is born. So these are all extraordinary ways in which the Lord can create. He can create anyway. Narsimha came out of a pillar to totally surprise and shock Hiranyakashipu. So when Prahlad said, yeah, Lord is everywhere, is he in this pillar? Yeah, he's in this pillar also. So what, this boy is speaking nonsense? He has gone pagal. He has gone mad. Somebody is inside this pillar. Huh? Let me see who is inside this pillar. He knows pillar is made up of what? He only constructed that palace, or the palace was there always. It is made of some stone or some wood or whatever that is, material. So how can some person be inside this? Not possible. This boy is speaking nonsense. So let me break this pillar and prove to this boy nobody is inside this pillar. So with his fist he struck hard. And then suddenly when cracking sound came, of course, when you break something, there will be sound. But this sound was not simply the sound of breaking that pillar. It is the sound which cracked the coverings of the universe. That sound came out. Why? Because Narsimha is coming out of that pillar. Narsimha is breaking open that pillar to come out of it. Now, Krishna is appearing out of the womb of Devaki for ordinary people's understanding and vision. Even Devaki is thinking, Krishna has entered my womb and now Krishna is going to take birth. Okay. He came out. Normally they would have expected some small baby, infant, child. But out comes four-handed Narayana form, beautifully decorated, dazzling effulgence. How can this Narayana come out of my womb? So for that, Vasudeva is telling, you never entered the womb of Devaki. You existed there already. You're always present everywhere. And what form is he present everywhere? As the Paramatma. Who is that Paramatma? He is the same Krishna. He is the same Rama. He is the same Narasimha. He is the same Narayana. He is the same one and only one supreme personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. One person. Supreme soul. Paramatma. Only one. Jivatma, many. Many. Jivatmas are many. But Paramatma is the one. But he appears like he is divided. He has entered his heart. Separately, he is giving him intelligence, giving him knowledge, giving him some energy, everything he is giving. Exclusively for him, he is present in his heart. The same Paramatma is present in my heart, in your heart, everybody's heart. Same Paramatma has entered into this wood also, because of which the wood is, having the qualities of wood, serving the purpose of wood. So that Paramatma is you. You are the prime factor in everything, the all-pervading, undivided Super Soul. Super Soul is one. He not become many, many forms. No, he is only one form. How to understand this one form but separately present, individually present in everybody's heart? That Shastra has given example to understand. Just like if you keep several pots of water, when the sun is overhead, inside every pot you can see the reflection of the sun. That reflection of the sun has also got some of the qualities of the sun. What is that? Sun is giving out heat and light. Now the reflection also will give out some heat and light. But that doesn't mean the sun has become split into so many small forms with little heat, little light. No. The sun is in its place, sun is unchanged. The mere reflection of the sun, which is not the sun, is behaving like the sun, a very tiny sun. So that is possible for the sun, because the Supreme Lord has entered the heart of the Sun God as Surya Narayana. Surya Narayana. And it is his effulgence, which is the effulgence of the Sun God, which is the effulgence of the Sun planet, which is lighting up the whole universe. The Sun planet is luminous. No other planet is luminous. All of the planets are luminous because they're reflecting the light of the sun. Similarly, the sun planet is emanating, giving out so much light and heat because it is the light and heat of the sun god's form. His form is brilliantly effulgent. The sun god's form is so very extraordinarily effulgent because all the devatas have got some bodily effulgence. But the effulgence of the sun god's body, Surya Deva, is incomparable. How is it possible for him to be so brightly effulgent? That is because in his heart, Krishna is present as Surya Narayana. Surya Narayana. In our heart also, Surya Narayana is there as Paramatma. In Sun God's heart also is there as Paramatma. But that Paramatma is displaying his original effulgence, the Brahma Jyoti. The Brahma Jyoti effulgence, a little small, tiny fraction of that Brahma Jyoti effulgence is displaying. That's all. It is coming out of the heart of the Sun God. And that heart of the Sun God, whatever effulgence is coming out to the Sun planet. And that sunshine is distributed throughout the universe. So that sunshine, a small portion of sunshine has entered this water pot. Just like sunshine has got heat and light, that sunshine, heat and light, small portion of that is coming out of the pot also, the reflection of the sun in the pot. But to ordinary eyes, it appears like sun is divided. And in a small way, it is present in so many parts. But actually undivided. Sun is undivided. Appears divided, but undivided. Similarly, Paramatma is Krishna. He is undivided, but he appears to be divided as Paramatma in everybody's heart. So that is being explained by Vasudeva. I'll stop here. Prantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Some announcements. No announcement. Okay. We have made the announcements last week. The same announcements I'll repeat. 19th, we are celebrating Balaram Purnima. In the evening, we'll have a program. And Janmashtami on 25th and 26th, Sunday and Monday. Okay. 25th and 26th, we are celebrating Janmashtami, 2 days. And 27th, we are celebrating Vyas Puja. We worship Prabhupada on his birthday, his appearance day, as the representative Vyasadeva. We worship him as representative Vyasadeva. It's called Vyasa Puja. So on Vyas Puja day, devotees can cook some special offerings, sweets and savories for offering to Prabhupada. In the evening, you have to bring those offerings. So details are available on the notice board or through temple devotees. You can get further information. Hare Krishna.